thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob. Hey, yo, welcome into a new episode of the Review It Rob Show, man. Appreciate you joining in. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the film Late Night with the Devil, spoiler-free, of course, and we'll be talking about all kinds of news following around the horror realm, the DC films world, and anything else going on around movies, man. So again, appreciate you joining in. Going to kick it off with Late Night with the Devil talk here. The film is rated R for some gore, language, sexual reference, and violent content. Puts in there a sexual reference. It is now on Shudder. It's now streaming on Shudder. It's a horror mystery thriller film running in at 1 hour and 33 minutes. Synopsis reads as Johnny Carson's rival Jack Delroy hosts a syndicated talk show named Night Owls that has long been trusted as a companion to insomniacs across the country. However, ratings for the show have plummeted, and for a desperation to turn his fortunes around, I'm changing the synopsis up a little bit so I don't give away too much. On October 31st, 1977, Jack plans a Halloween special like no other. Unaware he is about to unleash evil into the living rooms of America. Rotten Tomatoes critics have it at a 97%, while the audience is at an 81%, and IMDb has it at a 7.3 out of 10. So, what were my thoughts on the film? Alright, so I've been interested in this film for quite some time, actually, even before I knew it was fully a thing, as in I haven't seen a poster or a trailer or anything like that. I remember back on Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man Beyond, the show he does with Mark Bernardin, they talked about seeing this movie at like a screening for the film or whatever, at like one of those con events or whatever where, you know, they screened films, and they loved it. They've talked glowingly about it, so I was like, cool, man, I can't wait to see this. If they like it, and you know, they're not really horror fans from what I understand. Maybe Kevin Smith is, but I know Mark Bernardin's not into it. I'm like, cool, you know, I'm interested to see it. And Kevin Smith is a horror fan, but not a massive. Anyways, so I'm like, cool, I can't wait to see that movie when it gets here. And then trailer finally released, and you know, I don't know if I ever actually watched the trailer, to be honest with you. So I was waiting for it. It was at a limited run in theaters, so I missed it at the time it was in theaters, because I think it released at the same time that like 2 or 3 other movies released in theaters. I'm like, holy crap, right? So it was tough to get to, but I knew that it would be on Shudder, because it's a Shudder affiliated movie, so I'm like, okay, it'll be on Shudder at some point. It came to Shudder pretty quickly. It finally hit Shudder over the weekend as a streaming service. How many times can I say Shudder? One more time, get Shudder, people. It's worth their money. So I was very excited to watch that. We did do a pretty cool thing with the Throw Me Podcast Network. We have our Patreon over there, and we did a chat along with people, so you can watch it at the same time that we're watching, and we can chat and talk about it and box. So if you want to have fun like that, please join our Patreon. It's always a good time over there. But as for the film itself, didn't know a whole lot about it, other than I knew that there was going to be something that happened during a talk show. Like, I did not know that this movie was going to do like a documentary style lead up into that episode, man. I just thought it was going to be that episode. But like, they do this really cool thing where they set it up for you. They give you information leading into that final episode and what's going on with Jack's life and leading up to this event that is about to happen on this episode. Now, again, I do not spoil films whatsoever on my show. If it happens, it's by accident. So I go out of my way to not spoil anything. So overall, thoughts on this film is, I don't talk about look of films all that much. I'm not a cinematography guy. I leave that, and other people want to talk about that and listen to it, cool. I'm not into talking about that stuff, but I feel like it needs to be mentioned for this, because they did a fantastic job with the way they made this film look and feel like it was the 70s. They blended everything together perfectly. The sets look great. Looks like a classic talk show. It looks like, you know, what you would expect to see on television in the 70s. So they did a great job there. The story absolutely works. Absolutely love the idea and what they put together as far as story goes in the film. I like the idea of it being a talk show host who is up against Johnny Carson, who, if you don't know, was the biggest name in late night talk shows, especially in that time, right, in the 70s and all that. Still a big name in late night talk shows. I mean, the show Jimmy Fallon does now was originally Johnny Carson's show, right? So, big name, so it's cool. I didn't realize that was something that was going to happen. I didn't know there was a rivalry there, but that was cool that was part of the story. And the way they blend everything together and tell you about Jack and his beginnings there and all the stuff he's done, and some tragedy that's happened on the way to throughout the run of the show, and then what led up to this special Halloween edition episode happening, and all the events that happened during that show. I think it was very well put together. I think it was very smartly put together, and I love the execution that they did. So, solid story and execution all the way around there. Cast, fantastic. Now, I don't know much about anyone in the cast except for David Dastmalchian, who I've run into many a times. First time I saw him, I think his first ever actual film was The Dark Knight. He is in that film, and then, of course, from there, he does a great performance in that movie. I'm sure that just skyrocketed him off into Hollywood because of that performance. And we've seen him in countless things. He's been in the Ant-Man movies. He's been in some other DC films, Suicide Squad, right? So he's had a lot of work, and he will continue to get work because he's a fantastic actor. That shows again in this as well, because his performance is fantastic. As well as the whole cast. They all deliver exactly on what their characters need to be, and they do the job. They do a great job, and it works. So the movie is it is a horror mystery thriller. That's the trifecta of awesome as far as I'm concerned. The horror aspects you get with the evil that is unleashed into the living rooms of America. Again, we're not going to talk about that for spoiler purposes. The mystery, yes, there is a mystery involved here of what is happening and what is going on around this show, especially this episode. What is happening right now? How is this going on? Is this real? Is this fake? Is this showbiz for a late night talk show? What is happening? So the mystery aspect is there, which of course blends in with the thriller aspect because you're on edge trying to figure out what is happening here. Is this real? Is this just made up to happen on the show? What is going on? Right? And being stuck in, you can just kind of put yourself in that audience and being there in that moment of holy crap, this is intense, this is thrilling, right? So nails on all those levels. Gore, there is gore. It's some gore in the movie, is how they put it in the rating, and it's not much. It's not anything over the top. It's nothing like Abigail that I saw over the weekend or anything like that. But there is some gore in there, right? There are some classic horror movie references in there, which is amazing. We talked about it in our chat as well. One of the obvious ones, if you've seen a certain Halloween film. So yes, overall, I think what they did was very good with this movie. I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm kind of on edge to watch it again, which is good because I have, saying it again, Shudder. So I could watch that at any point in time that I wanted to, as long as it's on there, which I may do soon. But overall, absolutely love the film. Absolutely worth the time to check it out. It's an hour and 33 minutes. It's an hour 33 minutes of awesome from the beginning. Like I mentioned, you're leading up to the episode that they're talking about, this October Halloween special, October 31st special. So you're leading up to that moment, and then you're in that moment until the end, and it's just perfect, man. So I absolutely enjoy this movie. I say 100% check it out. Get Shudder. If you're a horror fan, you should have Shudder already. If you don't, go ahead and get it, man. It's like $7. Might not even be $7. Maybe $6 and some change, but it is worth the money to get Shudder, especially for things like this with Late Night with the Devil. So 100% say check out that movie. It is worth your time, man. All right, going from there, we can go ahead and, of course, obviously jump into horror news since we're already in the realm. All right, so the biggest thing that happened in horror or horror related since the last time we talked here is that the fantastic legendary actor Brad Dourif has announced his retirement from acting, with the one exception that he will continue to work on, that, of course, being Chucky. He will continue to do any and everything that comes with the Chucky franchise. I say any and everything, but he said he'll still gladly work on the Chucky franchise, but he is retired from anything else happening acting wise. So that is, that's big news. Brad Dourif, fantastic actor. Of course, he came into my life with Chucky, being the voice of Chucky. Well, he was in the first movie as Charles Lee Ray, and then passing his soul into the dawn, since then being the voice for Chucky in the original Chucky franchise. Of course, the remake was Mark Hamill, but he's been fantastic as that, and of course he's on the Chucky show now. We'll see if there is a season 4 or not. There are talks going on, and Don Mancini has pitched something for season 4. There's talks of a Megan versus Chucky film, so Chucky is still in conversation. There's still stuff to happen there, so it's great and very respectful that Brad is like, I'll still keep doing Chucky stuff, which is, of course, legend. As far as other acting credits, I mean, he's a fantastic actor. If you haven't seen Brad Dourif in much of anything other than Chucky, do yourself a favor and go watch this man. He is a fantastic performer. If you're a horror guy, you've got Rob Zombie's 2 Halloween films where he plays Sheriff Brackett. He is in Exorcist 3, and those films. Feel how you want about the Rob Zombie films. I thought he was awesome as Sheriff Brackett. And then, of course, Exorcist 3. A lot of people talk about his performance in that film as well. Go watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or Lord of the Rings. Maybe you heard of that. X-Files, Star Trek Voyager, Deadwood. So many acting credits for this man. So go check it out. Go watch Brad Dourif stuff and just continue to watch Chucky because that's where we're going to get Brad Dourif going forward. But huge support and love for Brad Dourif, and enjoy your semi-retirement as you continue working on Chucky stuff. But much deserved, man. You absolutely deserve that. Now, you remember back, I did a trailer reaction to a Steamboat Willie horror film that is being worked on that was called Mickey's Mousetrap. Mickey's Mousetrap. Mickey's Mousetrap. Whatever. Haven't had much information about that. I don't even know if that movie's come out yet or when it's coming out and all that stuff. But there was another one that they were working on around the same time that didn't really have a name for, but it now does officially have a name. It will be called, are you ready? Screamboat. Screamboat is going to be the name of the Steamboat Willie horror movie. The other one is being produced by the same people who did those Terrifier movies. So, and the Mean One, which was the Grinch horror film. So, interested enough in it to, I'm going to want to see it. They gave it a time frame of 2025. They're teaming up to have a theater release, or at least a limited theater release. So that is still happening, and it's still out there. We just don't, the most information we've gotten so far on it since the tease before, but they're making them, man. There's 2 movies there, Steamboat Willie, and that's going to be the future now when these things start hitting the public domain. They're going to keep making these things. Let's see, Blair Witch Project. We didn't fully announce it, but did talk about it a little bit during CinemaCon. They did say that Blumhouse is bringing it out of whatever it was, and they're going to be making some more movies there. And the original cast has come out, and they're not too happy that they haven't been included in it, and they're asking Lionsgate for some more money for their time on the film. Of course, like streaming or whatever. The word is escaping me, but you know what I mean. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Should they be included or should they not be included in the new film? I mean, not necessarily, right? I mean, if we're doing something new and all that, it'd be cool to have offered, I guess. But at the same time, you don't have to. If that makes sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. It's not something they have to do. They don't. If they're making a new movie, So I don't know. It is what it is. The Blair Witch Project. I saw the first movie. I saw the second movie, Book of Shadows, I believe it's called. Definitely need to do a rewatch. I haven't watched those movies in a long time. And apparently there was a film that came out in 2016 that I never saw, but I have heard is actually pretty good. So gotta look into that for sure. That's gonna do it horror-wise. Let's go ahead and jump into DC films over here. James Gunn was asked about Zack Snyder over on Threads, seeing if he heard anything about Zack Snyder's excitement for the DCU. Gunn replied that, quote, "I didn't, but I knew it already because he texted me. He's been incredibly supportive throughout the process," end quote, which, not surprised. The beef is between just, I guess, Snyder bots on the internet who are just upset about this and still upset about the Snyderverse not continuing. Like, it's time to get over it. Like, it is so much time to get over it. Look, I enjoyed the Snyderverse. I enjoyed, some of those films. Like, but come on, man. We're moving into a new world. It's time to get over it. The 2 don't even hate each other. Zack Snyder's excited to see what James Gunn's got going on. So, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, cut it out. Get over it. Let's see. Continuing with James Gunn, Grant Gustin was asked if he's been in contact or if he would come back and play the Flash or play in the DCU, to which, of course, he said he would play the Flash again if asked. And Yeah, another quote here. He said, quote, "I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with it. So I think at one point, maybe a couple different times, we've DM'd about Superman. We've literally never talked Flash. I'm just excited that he's doing Superman," end quote. So they've been in contact. Grant has said he would, join the DCU if asked. James Gunn was asked if he would work with Grant Gustin, which James Gunn said, of course he would. And that has immediately led to people on the internet freaking out about the possibility of him being the Flash for the DCU, because we don't have a Flash, right? Supposedly, I don't know. So, I, he clarified it there, and then of course and most recently with Andrew Garfield, we don't know what to believe with these things. Remember, he said he wasn't in Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, No Way Home, and of course he was. So it's it's one of those things where I wouldn't be highly upset if he is the Flash for the DCU. But he might be playing somebody completely different. Like they've only talked about Superman. Apparently, they have not talked about Flash. And I don't know if Ezra's Flash is part of this DCU or not. It could be. It could not be. We don't know. We're at this point where we're just gotta wait and see what happens. What we do know is that Martha and Jonathan Kent have been cast for this Superman film, so that's moving along. I saw some really stupid people on the internet like, "Why'd you cast these two people? They're old and they don't look like this David Cornswell." Duh. Read the source material. But that is it for DC Corner. All right, going over to the other bits of news before we get out of here. Quentin Tarantino is no longer planning to make The Movie Critic, which was said to be his final film. Remember, he's doing 10 films. The Movie Critic was the film that was being talked about, that was announced as his last film. Was going to star Brad Pitt. And then the news came out of nowhere that he's decided that that film will no longer be happening, and that he is now working on something else to make it. Which I get if it's going to be his last film. I understand wanting to make sure it's the film that you want to go out on. I've seen the internet chatter about it maybe being Kill Bill 3. They want to do that route. Cool. But I mean, I've enjoyed. I don't know if there's a Quentin Tarantino movie I haven't liked, so I'm excited to see what he ends up doing. The Movie Critic movie probably could have been good. I think it was set in the same world as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was going to follow Brad Pitt's character from that movie, which would have been cool to see, right? But I support it. I get the idea, I get the gist of him wanting to do another movie. So at first when I saw that news, I was like, oh, it's not going to be his last film. He's going to do another one, right? But um, no, it's not going to happen. And there's something else I want to happen online, which I did not realize this. He's already done 10 films, technically. He's released 10 films, but in his mind, Kill Bill is one and two are one movie. So it's still 10 movies. So, I mean, if he did Kill Bill 3, that would still be one movie, right? So he'd do another one? Maybe? I don't know. But he's technically at 10 right now, I guess. So there you go. Let me double check that because I saw that on the internet. We can't believe everything on the internet, but I think that's what it was. So yeah, it is 10 movies. So Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2, Death Proof, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That is 10 films right there. So he considers Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2 to be a single movie, though. So 9 to him, but 10 to the rest of us, I guess. So, hey, what can you do? All right, let's see. Steven Spielberg, love him, quite possibly my favorite director, is working on, or apparently his next project will be, quote, a UFO based film of his own original idea, written by David Cope, who wrote Jurassic Park. So those two are working together again. He's busy. He's doing the new Jurassic film, right? So that's cool. That's exciting. Of course, Spielberg has done, UFO or alien kind of movies, of course, with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., War of the Worlds, right? So Steven Spielberg's got it. He's got it down. I've all three of those movies are awesome as far as I'm concerned. So I'm in. Like again, I'm a Spielberg guy. I'm happy with anything. Spielberg's making a movie. Cool, awesome. So that sounds fun. Get a UFO film again from him. You've got the writer who did Jurassic Park, which if you didn't know, Jurassic Park's my all-time favorite film. So that's fantastic news as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Steve Buscemi has joined the cast of Wednesday. He'll be part of season 2. Character information is unknown at the moment, as well as details for season 2 are unknown, but we do understand that apparently it will be a little more horror in season 2. Steve Buscemi, I guess he'd probably be the new principal for, what is it, Nevermore Academy? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know what his characters is, but I guess we probably lean that way. Let's see. Andrew Garfield and Miles Teller are reportedly being eyed for Martin Scorsese's Jesus movie that he's working on. It is unknown what characters they would be eyed for, if it's for Jesus, but or maybe one of the can't remember the disciples. But wouldn't be the first time that Andrew Garfield and Scorsese have worked together. They worked together in 2016 Silence, so they've got the history there. Maybe he would trust him. I could see Andrew playing Jesus. I mean, it works. He has not worked with Miles Teller before, but I could see it. Cool. I mean, Scorsese is probably gonna be like a 10-hour long movie, but hey, I'll see it. Why not? Especially if Andrew's in it. Andrew might be my favorite actor. We don't know. He probably is. Let's see. And last bit of news here. I'm not gonna go into all the details because some of this stuff gets boring to people, but Sony Pictures Entertainment and Apollo Global Management are possibly considering a joint bid to purchase Paramount Global. Sources close to the situation confirmed that conversations have confirmed the conversation, but caution that there are numerous obstacles that would need to overcome before the sides could formally submit an offer. At the current moment, Paramount Global is in the midst of an exclusive 30-day negotiating window with Skydance Media. Skydance and Paramount are trying to work out a deal that would merge Paramount into Skydance and bring in new management for that. And then Paramount Global has set up a special committee of board members to consider offers and options for Paramount. So Paramount has been talked about for a bit about selling. I think Universal was in the talks for that as well, but that dropped, thankfully, because I want Universal to buy Warner Brothers. I think. I mean, they both have had decent success. I mean, the two off the top of my head, when it comes to Sony and Paramount, most recent success are the animated things they've done with the Miles Morales films over for Sony, and then the Ninja Turtles film for Paramount. Of course, Paramount has Ninja Turtles and all that stuff that they can work with, and they have other films that they can work on with the Mission Impossible films, right? Those are Paramount, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, Mission Impossible. So I don't know why Paramount would need to be bought. I would figure Sony would need to help more with the failures that have happened with at least the Spider-Man films they've been putting out, but are the Spider-Man films that don't have Spider-Man. But interesting. I could see the two merging. Read that Apollo has tried a couple times to get Global or Paramount as well, so we'll see what happens. The main thing I'm interested in is Universal getting Warner Brothers. Like that's the thing I'm keeping my eye on the most and seeing what happens there. Because obviously as a DC fan and even a Wizarding World fan, the stuff that's happening over at Warner Brothers is top of my mind. Like I want to know what's happening over there. I want to know what's going to be the future, how things are going to look. And of course, as the guy who loves the Universal theme parks, getting Warner Brothers is a huge deal for what you can bring there. They've already got the Wizarding World there. I don't know what you can bring DC wise because Six Flags has the DC contract, but I'm sure that's something that could get figured out. I don't know the I's and T's of that one, but that's the one that's got me most interested to see what happens over there with Warner Brothers and who it gets sold to. Hopefully Universal, if they're still trying to sell. I don't know. As far as Paramount and Sony merging together or Sony purchasing Paramount, it is what it is. It's gonna be a merger to wait and see what happens. Because again, they've got some content over there that I think would be beneficial for both of them to work together. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Paramount has the Sonic stuff too, so yeah, I don't know why Paramount would be an option. I thought Paramount was doing fine. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for this show, man. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about Late Night with the Devil if you have seen it. Again, if you have not, see it. It is worth the time. 1 hour and 33 minutes of pure awesomeness. Let's see. Horror news. Congratulations, Brad Dourif on a great career, and thankfully get to still hear you and see you on Chucky. I'll actually be on the next episode of Chucky. And then all that other stuff that's going on between Blair Witch and whatever. DC, do you want to see Grant Gustin in the DCU as the Flash or as another character altogether? Let me know what you're thinking there. And then Quentin Tarantino's last movie. How are you feeling? Do you feel like he's already did 10 movies and should just keep making movies? What are you thinking? Should Andrew Garfield be Jesus? Are you happy that Steve Buscemi is joining the Wizard Wednesday show? It's pretty much a Harry Potter show. Let's be honest. It's like Harry Potter with Wednesday characters. But, yeah, that'll do it, man. So appreciate you taking the time to listen to the show. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. I'll talk to you all next episode.